Okay, so I zoomed out the camera to give a little bit of a better angle. Also put down this chunk of styrofoam to help protect the guitar. And we're going to start the tape line, I think, right around here, which is will be in the middle of about the middle of the lower bout and in the middle of the guitar. And then we're just going to kind of you see, as I'm pulling on this, I'm stretching that tape. So the tendency is for it to try to regain its original size. And in these, let's say, convex areas like here, if the tape gets shorter, it's got to lift up, right? Because it's a longer distance through the convex shape. It's a shorter distance as a straight line. So, you know, that's where you're going to have the lifting if you're going to have it. So it's also a good idea maybe to get a shot down the line of the guitar to try to keep it centered. I'm sure his wasn't exactly computer perfect here. So we're just doing it as best we can. So it looks right. And always with everything, I mean, you got to trust your eyes, right? All right. So we're over here. Now at this point, I'll pull out a lot of tape and I'll just let it relax. And you can already see it's already starting to shrink from the stretch that I put on it by pulling it off the reel. Here I'm going to kind of work it down into the cutaway. Trying to maintain it somewhere in the center. And this is a pain in the butt, I gotta tell you, it really is. And as you sort of come up the guitar, up into the neck pocket area, you're going to cheat a little bit towards the back of the guitar, and you're going to leave, I don't know what that is, 3/16. That may not be right, I don't know. That's how I always done it. And then we're going back into the bout again of the guitar. The upper horn, rather. I always say things wrong. I don't know what the hell's wrong. I think I'm getting old. It's like my mom calling things all kinds of weird stuff. Or my dad, when he got older, confusing things. So there we go. Now we're back in the middle. Now here is sort of really where the tape, the 3M tape, is really going to earn its extra money. In that we've got to kind of follow this part of the belly cut, right? And kind of ride that belly cut. And with a, let's say, paper mask, it really doesn't like to do that sort of thing that the vinyl tape does. You know, and here, where we're kind of going to follow that arm contour around, so you can see how it makes this bend, you know, really easy. So I'm going to bring it around to sort of show you that bend becomes, you know, very easy with the vinyl tape. So we're bringing it around to the back, to the lower bout, and we're going to get it to overlap on the tape there. Now I'm just going to cut it here so I can use both hands to manipulate the little tape line and try to get it exactly where I want it. It's hard to do it while I'm keeping it in focus for the camera. So normally I would want probably this guitar in my lap while I'm doing this, but I think that's where we were at, right there. And just snip it and fold it back. Then we're just going to check it. Could probably use a little adjustment. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Seeing if this is still, let me see if I can move the camera a little bit to see, you can see what I'm doing here. Peel this tape back. I'm going to try to make this line a little less dramatic. And just line it up, right? Like so. And just trim that little corner off. There we go. I think we got a good line there now, all the way around the guitar. Okay, now we're going to put in that little notch that we saw on the guitar. And I got to reload that picture. Oh, where did it go? Why did I do that? Okay, so found it. So we're going to try to locate that position on the guitar itself. Alright, see if we can line the camera up a little bit better. Okay, I'm going to go and grab our razor blade so we have that ready for when we're going to do the cut. But to me, looks to be like right around here. And it has a little bit of an angle to it. So maybe a little further down. Yeah, maybe around here. I'm going to go ahead and cut the tape. Alright. And maybe lift it up if I can. Right. There we go. I lift it up. And I'm going to let it shrink a little bit. Need to shrink it a little bit more. Sort of had the gap there. Alright, we're going to pull it back a little bit further this time. There we go. Some kind of, there's our little line right there of the tape break, and the paint will get in there and it'll give you that little line. And I think as this shrinks a little bit, which it's going to do, and then we relay it down, it's going to open this gap up a little bit wider and should match that pretty good. Okay, so we got our perimeter stripe on there, which is good. Now the next step is going to be basically to start striping the guitar, and to do that we're going to use the projector again, and we've got it set up over here already. So I'm going to go ahead and take the camera and bring it over here so we can see what we're doing. So we have our little projector set up already, and down here we have the a piece of paper, hopefully where we can get an idea of what we're looking at here. So I'm going to shut off the lights as best we can, but basically you can see that we're getting a an image, right, of the guitar on this piece of graph paper. And then I like to start with the back of the guitar first, because the way it goes basically is you lay out the back for the red stripes, or rather for the red coat, and then you flip it over and then lay it for the front of the guitar for the same for the stripes and putting down the red coat. But then after that comes the black coat. So I think the front of the guitar, it's much better to have a more accurate front than a more accurate back. So I like to leave the projector set up on the front of the guitar the entire time I'm painting it, so I don't touch it or move it or bump it or anything. So when I come back after peeling the tape to tape up the guitar for the black stripes that are on the front of the guitar, it's already set up and ready to go, and everything matches up nice without having to kind of mess around with it too much. Okay, so we sort of pre-did this to kind of have everything sort of line up as we want it, and that's pretty much how it works right there. So then we can, at this point, just follow all of the lines as indicated by the photograph, and we'll have a real photographic representation of the guitar. And we've got, you know, a good lineup. I've skewed the image a little bit, so we have the 4 holes for the neck plate pretty lined up, the trim hole cavity, the claws right there, the rear control cavity is right about where it needs to be. So I mean, it is really close, much closer than I could ever do by eye. So I like this method. There may be an even better way of doing it, and if I had access to the actual guitar, I could definitely get it better, but for all intents and purposes, this works pretty well. And you can also use this image too for relicing, as you can see where all the scratches are, and you can just go ahead and mark them with like a pencil, you know, on the paint itself, and then take it off and start scraping, or you can scrape paint while it's sitting here on the floor. So it has a lot of purposes. So it's really kind of a cool way of doing things. So I'm going to go ahead and pre-cut some tape. I don't think we need to pre-cut anything here. There are no odd sizes. We got 3/4, 1/2 inch, and 1/4 inch, and we have all that already done in that 3M tape. So let's go ahead and start taping it. So I'm gonna pause here, and then in the next video we'll begin taping.